Hey there folks, martinfpavey here. Welcome back to the channel. Guys, it's been a busy day. I'm recording this early in the evening, but that's good because we're going to let it be what it is. Before we do that, please do like and subscribe and share to spread this very important message. Okay, people go through life so often, and it's so tempting to be constantly trying to change absolutely everything around you. And I was talking yesterday about delusion, about people being so wedded to what they believe. But it's a useful way of learning to be able to deal with people, to actually be able to listen and be more understanding. But when I talk about let it be what it is, there are so many things that you're not in control of. And when you try to, in your mind, when you're so obsessed by wanting to make things different, it's always going to cause you stress and misery. But there's something that stops a lot of people from accepting the way that things actually are. And ultimately being able to have a peaceful life. And the thing is, people are afraid of this word acceptance because they believe that, and maybe this is how you feel sometimes, but bear with me. The reason that people are afraid of acceptance, this idea of embracing the way that things are, it sounds as if that there's no room for maneuver, that the whole world is set in stone, and when you accept the way things are, that's it. There's no potential, there's nothing that you can do, and people feel very, very hopeless. But you have to start. Acknowledgement is the first step to cure. We all know this, but very few people actually practice it. So by acknowledging where you are, what's happened, and that there are things that are water under the bridge that you're still frantically trying to change, you're never going to get anywhere if you can't just be honest and say, okay, this happened, that happened, and maybe I believe that, I want things to be different. But you don't have to. You don't have to live that way. I want as many people to live as peaceful and joyful and fulfilled way of life. I really genuinely do. But you see people frantically, and believe me, I've been one of them. But what you see people living like this in a really, not just in a stressed way, but in a despairing kind of way. And that's no way to live. It really isn't. So start off with just being completely honest about where it is that you are in life. And from there, establish what it is that you would actually like to do. And be ruthless about it. Acknowledge what you can't change and why you would need or want to change those things. It's actually quite a powerful thing to do, because once you've done that, when you realize that you can't control other people, you can't change the weather, there are all these things, there's nothing you can do about those. And when you actually embrace all of those outside things that you can't control, what that means is that you've left room for the things that actually really, really matter to you. And I think a large part of this as well, and this is something that I've had a bit of an epiphany actually over the last few weeks, that I'm just going to allow myself to be myself amongst all of the things, all of the chaos that's going on, and allow myself, and I wish this for you as well, allow myself to actually relax, because I've found it really difficult to allow myself to relax. And now that I have, I don't feel this frantic urge, to want to change everything. Learning to let things go. People are who they are. Things are what they are. The world, it is the way that it is. And it's so interesting that I talk about Twitter a lot. I love going on there. I find it really, really entertaining. But what I see a huge amount of is people constantly broadcasting things about, politicians and climate change, and making comments on people saying you're evil and yes, okay, but I there was this one. It's sort of funny, but there was this one chap who keeps leaving comments under politicians' posts and tweets. Sorry, and I replied to him saying, "Mate, you sound like a crazy ex-girlfriend. What do you think that you're achieving by doing this?" And I think that the reason that people actually do this, constantly berating and feeling hopeless and angry at things, I think people do it in place of not actually thinking about, well, what can we do about this? What might be a tiny or local solution to this? They only want to perpetuate the misery. And you'll just, when you're doom scrolling, observe it. Observe what's actually happening and realise that to a large extent you're doing the same thing. Don't do it. Okay, politics is fucked, and there are wars and there are famines, and there's Gaza and there's Palestine. For one day, allow yourself to let it go, because we feel like we're being affected by it in a way, I suppose in the way we are. But okay, are you going to go and join the front line? No. No, you're going to complain about it from your incredibly comfortable position, and nobody will acknowledge where they are. Nobody will acknowledge the beauty. It's why there's somebody called Roger Scruton who died fairly recently, and he did a video, I believe it's called Why Beauty Matters, and people aren't focusing on beauty. If you make a comment that is angry, you're creating more anger in the world. If you create a resentful comment, then your world is more resentful. And we wonder why people can't get meaningful stuff done. Again, there's no room for it. You cannot be angry and joyful at the same time. So that's the choice between those two, the choice of letting things be what they are, is so empowering to you, because in those moments of acceptance, it's when the fantastic ideas come to you of things that we can actually do. Very, very powerful. So thank you very much for listening to this. Let it be what it is. Allow yourself the opportunity of having a day filled only with peace and joy. It sounds really Pollyanna-ish. I know it sounds really woo-woo and new agey, but look at all the people who are making those kind of comments, who are living their lives in that angry kind of way. And ultimately, and I'm not wishing anything horrible on people, but look at what happens to those people. They eventually go mad. They eventually wither away and fade out. And that's, again, no way to live. Please, please allow yourself to have a good life. And if there's something that you can be in charge of, a solution that you can bring to the table, beautiful. Thank you very much for listening. Martin Pavey here. Please do like and subscribe and share to spread this very important message. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Full of joy. Ciao for now.